Hello YouTubers, welcome back to my workshop. I saw this project on YouTube last week, and as soon as I saw it, it just made me smile when I saw it. It's so realistic, and it's called the Grumpy Goose. My apologies to whoever turned it, I can't remember what their name was, but it was just so realistic. I thought to myself, I've got to have a go at turning that. I grew up in a small village in Hampshire, and my godmother and her husband, they owned a farm, and I used to spend a lot of time down there, and they had a big flock of geese down there, and as soon as you walked into the farmyard, these things used to come flying at you. And he always said it was best guard dog he ever had. They make more noise and they're more protective than any mate of dogs he ever had. And that's all I remember is these geese come flying at you. So I'm going to be getting turn one, and I hope I can do it justice. So stick around, see what I do. And this is the wood that I'm going to use for this today. It is a piece of oak. And as you can see, there's a massive great split running down through there. But it just come part and parcel with some other really nice pieces of wood that was given to me. And unfortunately that split, as you can see, runs diagonally right the way through there, which doesn't make it a lot good for anything, but I'm hoping I can turn the goose at that piece there, at that corner. If I cut that off around there, that should still give me quite a nice big bit. So the first thing I need to do is get that over onto the bandsaw and cut that up into a more manageable size. So as you can see, I've cut that size. That's sort of crack running down through there, but most of that should get turned away, I hope. So I've sharpened my tools up. Let's get and turn some wood. That's how nice and firmly in forge or chuck I can carry on taking the corners off on this, and I'll turn the speed up a bit as well. Just to show you YouTubers, not everything's perfect. I started turning that, and that split was much bigger than I thought. See, it runs all the way through there. And it runs right the way through the top of there. Useless. So, for take two, that is another piece of oak I've got. I've cut the ends off there where it's split, and then cut another piece off of there, get it mounted on the lathe, and then I'll get back to you. So I haven't turned one of these before, so I very roughly sketched out the goose on there, and I'm just going to drill. I think I want 2 feet to go. What I've done, I've clamped a piece of wood there. I haven't tipped this over an angle for years, I don't even know. It's probably seized up. So what I've done is just put a bit of wood under there, which will give me an angle for the feet. So as you can see, I've finished drilling. That's a hole for the eyes, and I've sketched out the shape very roughly onto the wood that I want, and then I'm just going to go through with my roughing gauge. I'm just going through, just taking the corners off, just turning that down to round. There was a cut in that piece of wood, and I didn't realise it went in quite so far. Otherwise, I think I'd have cut that off and used another piece of wood. So at the moment now, I'm just going through. I'm trying to work this out from, because stupidly I've taken all my lines off, but where my holes are for my feet and the hole for the eye, I've worked out pretty much where the head needs to be and where the body needs to go. So I'm just coming in now with my
parting off chisel, my 1/4 inch parting off chisel, and just taking that down. So I've given a datum at the bottom, the size of the head and the size of the body, and where the neck should be. So I'm just coming in there with my spindle gauge and just taking that down. And then we're just going in, giving it a general shape. So that's going to be the neck. So I just need to take all that wood away. Just take that down. Obviously there I'm taking a lot of the diameter off the head, because the head needs to be quite a bit smaller than the body. And then just giving that a nice shape as well. So that piece on the end is where the beak's going to go. And that will be the back of the goose. So I'm having to take quite a bit off of there. As I say, I didn't realise quite how deep that went. But luckily for me, it all stayed nicely in proportion. So I was quite pleased with the overall shape at the end. So just come back now, just taking a bit more away from the neck. This is because you're cutting the wood both ways. You have to do this left-handed and right-handed.
I just need to take the head down a bit smaller. I like that. Right, let's get and sand that down. So I'll just get and sand that down. I've got some amber in there. That's 80, I think I'll start that with, because there's quite a few tool marks in there. And then there that I need to take out. I'll get back to you once I've finished sanding. What I was going to do is put that piece of dowel in there for its eyes. Put it in there because I can sand it all up together then. So first up, I've got some sanding sealer to go on there. I'm just going to go in and I've got a red felt tip pen. Should I do give no, I don't. Stick with black. It looks angry already. Right, just give that a couple of minutes to dry. I'm just going to give this a polish with microcrystalline wax, because that does stand up to being handled a lot better than the gloss wax.
When you put on with these permanent marker pens, you can polish straight over the top of that. You can't put sand and sealer on them because the sand and sealer, the alcohol in there, I guess, will take it off. You see that lovely shine coming on there already. A bit of cloth, buff that up. That's gorgeous. Now I can go in, just part that off. So all I want to do now is just make some feet. Now, for the beak. Right, so this is going to be the feet. I think they want to be quite long because when that goes out so far, there's going to be quite a lot of weight on there. Right, so as you see, that I've cut the 2 feet out. I've sanded that away down to that thickness there. I've taken it over in the bandsaw and cut it to give the impression of a webbed foot. And what I'm going to do now is just sand that edge away and sand that edge away. I'll do that on both of them on my bobbin sander. I'll get back to you in a minute. So I've just gone in there with a Sharpie and marked V for his beak. And I'm just going to get a fret saw in a moment. Well, I've laid some of that non-slip matting down on a piece of plywood just to make sure you don't get scratched at all. And I'm just gradually cutting a V in there. Just to give the impression of an open beak. I've forgotten how hard it was to cut all this all. Still, I got there in the end. And what I did then was I just used my Dremel to shape that beak down. I just wanted to narrow it slightly and curve the top over slightly. Dremel's a brilliant tool for stuff like this. A lot of control over it. I've got a medium sabre burr in there. It does scratch the wood quite a lot. You do need to give it good sanding afterwards, but it does take the wood away very quickly. I've put my mop in my 3-jaw chuck. I'm just applying a little bit of sand and sealer. A tiny little bit of wax. And then just blend that in. That's all left for me to do is make a tail. Now what I want for that is for that tail to sit on there, like so. But what I want is for the curve on there to be like a natural curve there. So to do that, I'm going to put my 3-jaw chalk back in. I'm going to put a sanding pad in there for native grit. And that'll allow me to just gently sand that away. So that's all done, that's his feet done, body done. I've dry fitted the feet, so what remains for me to do is just put a little dab of glue on there. A little dab in there. And I just need to glue the tail on.
Here we go, YouTubers. One very angry looking goose. As soon as I saw that, it made me smile. It took me back about 60 years when I used to walk in that farmyard and the geese, they used to come out. First off, they'd stand right up, put their heads up really high, flap their wings, make out of a row, and then they come flying at you, hissing and spitting. And they get round behind you as well. I suppose because I was a young boy and I had shorts on, they used to get round and nip my legs. Yeah, made me laugh. Fun project, really enjoyed doing that. I would say to anybody, if you, I had to recut the feet. If you were to make it, just think a little bit more better proportions. Either make the body a little bit bigger or the head a little bit smaller. Because I did, as I say, I had to recut the feet because it was slightly dropping forward, but it's fine now. I just had to make this feet slightly bigger. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Made me smile. There we go. Well, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all again next week. You take care of yourself. Bye bye.